Hi guys, in this video we're going to look at some important properties of tensors, namely shape, d-type and device. Knowing these attributes can help a lot when trying to debug a lot of pytorch errors that we'll run into. So we can start by building a 2x3 random tensor that we will interrogate. And then we can print these three attributes for the tensor. First, we see shape that tells us the size of each dimension, which in our case is 2x3. Then we have d-type that tells us the numeric type. In this case, it's float32, meaning it's a single precision floating point that gives us around 6 to 7 decimal places of precision. We'll discuss different data types in a future video. Finally, we have device that tells us where the tensor lives on hardware, such as the CPU or a specific GPU. If your model and data run on different hardware, you'll run into hardware errors. Colab defaults to give you a CPU runtime, but we'll look how to change this in a future video. The shape property has the pytorch type size, which is very similar to a Python tuple. This allows you to index into it as well as unpack it directly into named variables. The shape property has a twin method called size that is exactly the same except spelled out as a method call. It also allows you to get the size of a dimension without directly indexing. Ndim is another attribute worth being aware of. It gives you the number of dimensions the tensor has in total. As x is a 2D tensor, it has 2 dimensions. We also have the method nummel, that is the number of elements in total, and for our 2x3 tensor, this is 6. We can create a slightly more realistic example data that represents a batch of images. Reading the shape from left to right, this could be 8 images with 3 color channels that are 32 pixels high and 32 pixels wide. The number of dimensions for this example is 4, and the number of elements is just the product of 8 by 3 by 32 by 32. The number of elements corresponds to the number of individual pixel values across the whole batch. And so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.